with it that simplistically, then the supporter who votes for a party because they're white would have heard great news yesterday.
Right. Okay.
No, I mean, the white population, non-Bermudian and Bermudian, if you're a racist, right? I'm not saying racist, but I'm just, the hardcore facts show that the black Bermudian and the black non-Bermudian population was declining, while the white non-Bermudian population and the white Bermudian population was climbing.
Right.
So I don't take it higher than that. Why would you be upset if you were?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I definitely want to repeat something I said yesterday, and then add to it a message that I got last night. And that was the role of our public officers or civil servants in compiling this information. The compiling of it, I get. I understand people go to work, they have a job, they have qualifications, and they compile data.
Right.
But it's in the analysis and the communication of that data where I felt extremely proud of our public officers, because they were, to give the words I used yesterday, screaming at us.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
There were certain things, and I'm going to read some of them out, but there were certain things that were said within these reports that should have, gotten someone's attention.
Yeah.
And I could imagine if you've prepared this report, you've looked at the raw data, you're the first person in the country to look at the data and do the analysis. You're like, wait, this can't possibly say this. Wow. And so you write it up in a way that you think will get attention.
Yes.
Right? There's some sound bites in here that are deep. But it does not appear that the data, the analysis, the reports were acted on by the powers that be, whomever they may be. So on behalf of the Corey Butterfield Show, I just want to thank I don't know if I should call them out, but we'll say all of the public officers, because I could say the Department of Statistics, right? And in one of the reports, the chief statistician thanks Ms. Williams, who was instrumental, but Ms. Williams could only do that if the other unknowns were actually putting in the data in the first place, right? The data entry, so the whole soup to nuts, top to bottom, thank you, because we couldn't do this without it. And I think the information that we shared was vital. To add on top of that, the message I got last night made me feel a little dopey, to be honest. It was, I got to tell you, it was so clever that I thought, wow, that's pretty bad. What it was, I had said what I just said. The civil servants were screaming at us. And the message I got was, yes, and the people leaving Bermuda were screaming at us too.
Go ahead.
They were.
Yes, I would say so.
Right? When you told us, yeah, man, I think I'm going to leave. I think I'm getting out of here next year. I think, right? And, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, man, we're packing up. The house is sold. The guys are getting vacant possession in April. And wow, really? What were they telling you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I take the point that those who left were screaming, ow, you on my toe.
Yes.
Ow, this hurts. So I do want to just do a bit of a recap about that. Yes, I did make some kind of it looks like a summary, but actually look a lot longer. But I did bring out some of the highlights from yesterday in case folks missed some of them or wanted to hear again or didn't believe me. Like he didn't, that couldn't have been the number. Yeah, that was the number.
Yeah, that's the number.
And then for those who may lean to the nerdy side like I do, these are the documents that we're using. There was the population projections. There was one document that is population projections 2000 to 2030. There's another one from 2010 to 2020. And there was one 2016 to 2026. All of those population projection documents, in fact, everything can be found on gov.bm. So we're looking at the one 2000 to 2030, 2010 to 2020, and 2016 to 2026. On top of that, also on gov.bm, is the 2024 Digest of Statistics. That actually provides current data. So where those other documents I just spoke about were projections of population, how I was able to look at those projections and assess them was due to the 2024 report, which actually had things that had happened.
Okay.
Right? So where this is a projection between, say, 2016 and 2026, we know the data between 2016 and 2024 now.
Yeah.
Because it's all in that report. So those are the reports. There are two other reports I'll bring up later. Should we get there? And I think we're going to be okay today in terms of time. So having said all that, you have anything you want to say about last night, about yesterday's show? Because I know we finished the show yesterday, man, and you've been in a couple of rounds with Tyson.
I'm going to tell you something. I left her exhausted. I wouldn't say that the information was overkill, but I'll say it again. But the effect it had on me was that it's the reality of it all, that we have a decline in black population. That's number one. And the whole marriage, and actually that we have guest workers that are making a whole lot of children as well. I mean, these things you can't stop, but let's concentrate on us. Let's bring our numbers up. And if we have to put in programs that encourages that, let's go. Let's get it started. Come on.
Right. So the point that Willie is making there, we're going to come to it again, but just in case you weren't here, was I'll read this out later, but I'll say it now.
Right.
In these sort of statistical realms, in order for a population to replace itself, so that you don't have like people come in, they pass away, and then the whole population dies.
Right.
You obviously, those you have children, and children have children, and children and children. And so in order to do that, in Bermuda, they say that given the mortality rate, the birth rate, and death rate, and all that, Bermudian mothers ought to have, at the time, the last count, 2.1 children. So obviously, 2 children replace 2 parents.
Yes.
Right? So that's but the point 1 is to account for the rates of infant mortality in a country. And the people who don't have children, right? So enough of those. You know something? I'm going to jump way, way, way ahead and just say something about that infant mortality thing. I have someone I know who is OBGYN. Is that what it's called? Delivers babies.
Yes.
And he told me years ago, so not recently, what the insurance premium was for an OBGYN. And it was, back then, $450,000. Right? So imagine how much he had to earn if that was his insurance to be covered.
Yes.
And our infant mortality rates are 1.2. We don't really have that.
Okay.
Why? And this is what I mean. So if the mortality rates in babies and newborns, stillborns, that we don't have a high rate, why then must an obstetrician, a gynecologist, be covered to such a high number if the risk isn't that high? Why do I care about this? Because that would affect the cost of having a baby.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So okay. So I'm going to do a recap. I am unlikely to take any calls, at least I don't even want to give a time, but I definitely not before 3. Because I do want to make sure we got this right. Yes, because it was a lot of numbers and a lot of information. So what Willie was speaking about there was, it is very, well, from this first report, in the year 2000, the growth rate was 0.46%. What that means is when you take our deaths and our births, we had a positive situation, okay? So, and we were always in a positive situation. Our population was always growing.
Yes.
Until a point came when things changed. So, to that point, it was 0.46 positive in 2000 and likely to be minus 0.08 in 4 years by 2030.
Wow.
They said, this is in the projections, that the percentage of black young people will decline from 21% to 17%, and the percentage of older black people will surge from 16% in 2000 to 43% in 2030. The dependency, and this is what I want to just discuss. I didn't get into this too deeply. The real issues here, technically, are old age dependency and young people dependency. What it is, the youth dependency, is to what extent the working population has to support people who are not old enough yet to work.
Yeah.
And so in a country where you had a really, really high birth rate, then imagine how many after-school programs we'd have to have.
Yeah.
How many summer day camps and other schools, in fact, just schools, and then the teachers and all the facilities that go to schools to cover.
Yes.
Right? So with all of that, that's a youth dependency. The flip side is the old age dependency, and how much does the working population have to support people who are older than the working population?
Yes. Okay.
Well, we're saying that dependency is going to treble from where it was in 2000 to 2030, triple the old age dependency. So the way this came out yesterday is we're going to need more senior daycare than babysitters. Then the real concern was the fertility trends. In 1950, our birth rate was 30.4 per thousand people. And 50 years later, in 2000, is plummeted to 13.5. Okay. The number of live births we had in 1950, 1,138.
Okay.
1960, 1,208. 1970, 1,062. Okay?
Yeah.
1980, 807. 1991, 893. 2000, 838. And I could find the other numbers, but just consider it, and there are some people out there cleverer than me, but if in 2000, it was 838 births, and in 2024, there were 425, right? We have halved the births we have in Bermuda in the first quarter of this millennium.
Okay.
The reason that was given in this report, Bermuda experienced a shift in the social values around childbearing and child rearing. And the responsible parenthood is where Bermudians now are. So they're saying that Bermudians want a well-regarded, nurtured, well-educated child or children at the expense of having more children, some of whom might not be like that. And so that was on the choice part. Now, this next part, one of the factors that contributed to the relatively small families is the high cost and standard of living. In Bermuda, affordable housing is rare, and this affects the desired family size. This is what I mean by shouting. I can't believe somebody wrote that. True, of course.
Right.
But affordable housing is rare. I'm reading that in a paper that was published back in 06. Okay? 06.
6.
And so as a result, women aspired for higher education and professional careers, which resulted in them opting to delay marriage and childbearing. And they found in the 2000 census, mothers started their families later and completed fertility earlier. So having white community a little bit later than the black community, those numbers came out yesterday. But that meant that women were having children late and then being done after 2 years, like one child, and my fertility part is over.
That's it.
Yep. And so as a result, the fertility rate was due to fall. In 2000, it was 1.74. And if you recall, we need at least 2.1.
Yes.
So at what happened, there were a number of people having 3 children and 4 children and 1 child and no child, and all of that averaged out to 1.74 children. And we need 2.1 children.
Wow.
That was in 2000, it was 1.74. As a country. But that number was divided between black and white mothers.
Yeah.
Black mothers were at 1.7 and white mothers 1.28. So overall, Bermudians not having enough to replace ourselves. That's
Right.
it. We're not having enough till 1.74. Okay. So The problem, though, to the point you made, is in 2000, white non-Bermudian women had a below replacement fertility rate of 1.9. So they, again, didn't have the 2.1.
Right.
But that 1.9 was higher than us.
Yes.
The white non-Bermudian,
Yes.
okay, was having children to the 1.9 was that rate. So they're almost there.
Okay. What was their requirement from them? Is it above or below the 1.9? For them?
Oh, I don't think, and I know what it's going to sound like, but I doubt very much that we would have a number of the replacement needed for non-Bermudians. Now, if they're here on a work permit, fine, but if they're non-Bermudian married to a Bermudian, I just don't think a country looks to replace the foreigners.
Okay.
Unless it's such a classist society that the foreigners you're trying to replace are slaves or servants or apprentices or, you know what I mean? So back in the day,
Yes.
definitely the amount of slaves they had here would vary, and that's, if you came in, you were a slave.
Yes.
This one, they're just non-Bermudian. The black non-Bermudian had the highest fertility rate of all. That number is 2.59.
Oh, wow.
So above the replacement number. So that is having more children than needed to replace the population. That's where you want to be. That's where we used to be.
Yes.
That's how you want to be. But they're non-Bermudian in Bermuda. Now, this is the thing. I didn't get down to that nitty gritty. I don't have a microscope and I don't know how to read reports for that. But just think about this. If that black non-Bermudian at this point was married to a black Bermudian, then at the count when that child becomes an adult, let's say, then perhaps the black Bermudian population is being increased through immigration, but marriage, or non-marriage, sorry, the numbers, the wedlock and out of wedlock numbers. But what I'm getting at, it could very well be that black non-Bermudians who have not yet attained Bermudian status, because I think it takes 10, 6, whatever years, are still counted as non-Bermudian, but their fertility rate at 2.59, when added and averaged with the black Bermudian rate of 1.7, might be doing something. But that's something that I think we'll have to check later, probably next year or two, whenever the census comes out, because the last one was 2016. And so bated breath, mate, to see what's going on. So that was the population life expectancy. Regrettably, the range of life expectancy, really, you and I are at the bottom, black Bermudian males, our life expectancy is 73.3 years, and white females is 82.18. 9-year difference between the two.
Well, I ain't feeling better. Go ahead.
Life expectancy for black females is 2.57 years shorter than white females. So at the top, white females had the highest life expectancy, and the bottom, black males. I'm going to read this very difficult piece to read. An examination of the age-specific death rates for 2000 illustrates, I need you to listen to this part, really. An examination of the age-specific death rates for 2000 illustrates that from birth, black males have a similar age-specific death rate to their white counterparts up to the age 30, where blacks have a slightly higher mortality level at every age. So my question is, if the lifestyle, the life choices, if I don't know what else, gives the exact similarly, not statistically different, life expectancy of black and white males up to age 30, what happens at 30? Or what happens as an adult? Or, when we get provocative,
Go ahead.
what happens when you hit the workforce?
There you go.
What happens after you get married? And what happens for that white male after they hit the workforce, after they get married, after they have a house or become an adult or what I don't know. Okay, I do know generational wealth means I know a lot of black people who are trying to buy fixer-upper cottages and some white folks who are given full houses from their granny with no mortgage in the trust. Generational wealth really does impact your health.
Yeah.
So a massive similarity up to age 30, but then listen to this. The racial difference for the population age 30 to 45, so I'm giving you the answer that was written here, is primarily due to deaths resulting from accidents and violence, which tend to affect disproportionately young black men because of their risk-taking behavior.
Yeah.
You're saying yeah? Let me just, if you are great, cool, not a problem. All I'm saying is it took me a minute to accept that because I don't have the experience of that, right? I don't know white males to that level.
Right.
I can assume, just by observation, a lot of the road fatalities involve black people.
Yes.
Just men or women. And so I just can't believe there's such a difference in this island between a black male and a white male over 30. That one takes such decisions about risk in their life that it affects the mortality rate at every age after 30.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems, I don't know, something about that just seems something. And so going about, oh yeah?
No, I was just going to say, this is really becoming complicated, you know, because...
That's why I don't want to take calls.
Right, I got you, because it takes a lot of personal figuring out what's actually happening. I can only think of myself in the time I came up and the risk that I took. Maybe it was because of my bike and how I rode it and stuff. But other than that, I don't see any real risk factors unless it was a health issue. I don't know how they would measure that statistic.
Well, that was what I was going to come to. Is it, I mean, you're talking about over 30.
Yeah.
So it's not, where are many 30-year-old pack racing? Come on, let me get away with that one. I'm trying to let that one.
No, I'm not going to let you get away with that one.
What I'm trying to get at, though, is that it could be a combination. I don't know. Okay?
Right.
But, and I'm the worst person to bring this up. Trust me, you don't know anybody who is worse than what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
It could be black males go to the doctor less. It could be that the insurance that white males have when they, from 30 onward, is such that it, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to say something? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I'll take it. Go ahead.
I'm going to expand on that point.
Okay.
Whereas maybe it's because black men tend to not go to their doctors, like you just said. And if there was a problem with their health, we tend to see it a lot later or when it's too late.
Possibly. I just throw it out
now
there.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Well, I'm trying to reason and work this out, and it still doesn't make any sense.
Over 30? Well, all relative. I wouldn't have thought that over 30, there's so much difference in risk-taking amongst males.
Dan, what are they saying? Are we blacks irresponsible?
I don't know, but this report ties in with a later report that talks about Bermuda hit. There's a in the evolution of a country,
right?
Bermuda hit the point where our lifestyle affected our death rate or mortality in, I think, 1989. So there's a time where if you were to start out a country, let's say,
right,
the folks are dying of old age. Like people either die from old age or illness.
Yes.
This is going to sound backwards, I get it. But it's a developed country where people can do things that will kill themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to have guns to shoot yourself.
Yes.
You have to have bikes and gas and fuel to get in an accident driving too fast, right? So you're fairly developed when you can, and it sounds crazy, but when you can, like, kill yourself. Like, I don't know, I wish I put hands right on it. It's here somewhere,
Yes.
okay? But we got to that point, and so some of it is about decisions. We've got to get past this report. I'm skipping through a lot because there's some other stuff we need to get to.
Okay.
So I'm just going to run through this. The future implications for Bermuda. This was in that same report, the projections of 2000 to 2030. I'm going to run through. This was a big one. According to the United Nations, if fewer than 4% of a country's population is 60 and over, it is young. Think South Sudan. Okay, This is a relatively new country. I think Korea is relatively young. Japan, very, very old. And 4% over 60, the country is mature. The country is aged when 9% of its population is 65 or older. Sorry, let me give it over to you. Between less than 4%, a country is young. Between 4 to 7% of elderly people, the whole population of people are over 65, it's a mature. And more than 7% of your population being over 60 is an aged population. Okay, so under 4%, you're young. Between 4 and 7, you're mature. Over 7, you're an aged population.
Okay.
Bermuda hit the mature level, so between 4 and 7%, in 1950.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so by 1950, 6% of our population was over 65. By 1950. By 1980, 9% of our population was aged.
Okay.
Okay, more than 7%,
Yes.
and you're aged. And we were at 9% in 1980. And our life expectancy has gone through the roof since 1980. In 2000, Bermuda's elderly population was 11%. And by 2030, it is assumed that seniors will make up 22% of the population.
Oh.
And this report says, finding care providers for seniors will become more pressing than finding babysitters as the population continues to age. More retirement facilities and senior citizen daycare programs will be needed. And there was an issue here about, and I want to read this out, because anyway, I'm going to read this. Under the implications, the heading was more will retire, rising healthcare costs, inadequacy of the contributory pension fund, and then they have some other things here. I want to read this section about rising healthcare cost. Remember this. This report was published in 2006.
Okay.
20 years ago. Please bear that in mind when you hear what I'm about to say.
Got it.
20 years ago, public officers, civil servants were writing this. As people live longer, there are more demands placed on the healthcare system. Issues such as quality of life, access to healthcare, and healthcare costs become increasingly important. According to the Healthcare Review final report, in quotes, there is a limit to the financial burden that families and government can bear. It is essential, therefore, that guiding principles and policies be established to manage the healthcare system and control healthcare costs. During the 1980s, the cost of healthcare more than doubled. Over the same period, the cost of living increased by 65%. In 1993, the average household spent about $2,700 a year on health care, more than double in 1982. It is anticipated that healthcare costs and the demand for health services will continue to rise at a higher rate than the economy, which is predicted to mature and grow more steadily. Medical expenses will continue to absorb an increasing share of the household expenditure. Now, really, there was a 2004 household expenditure survey.
Okay.
I am going to read that to you. The cost of health care continued to more than double, while the cost of living increased by only 32%. Let me say what that means. The inflation and the cost that happens annually, sort of living in Bermuda, or that cost, that went up 32% in the decade. But healthcare costs were up a lot higher than that 32%.
Mm-hmm.
This part is the part that angered me to no end. In 2004, the average household spent about $5,600 a year on healthcare, more than twice the amount spent in 1993. Health insurance premiums accounted for 70% of this figure.
Mm-hmm.
You understand, really, what you think a healthcare cost is. So if you got medicine this year, that's part of your cost.
Yes.
If you got a cane or a bandage, some special supplement, all of that, and yet the premium was 70% of all of that cost. In 2004, households headed by seniors spent $6,000. So in 2004, that was the average household, was the 5,600. Households headed by a senior spent more, $6,000 a year on health care, up from $3,000 in 1993. Nearly two-thirds of that expenditure was comprised of health insurance. Seniors spent just over $900 on prescriptions and drugs in 2004, up from $300 in 1993. Trying to get it, the insurance was costing them about $4,000 a year, while $900 is on prescription drugs.
Jeez. Yeah, that's...
And so there was a conclusion that I drew using the actual numbers from the Digest of Statistics for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave the population demographically: Black, Bermudian, white Bermudian, Black non-Bermudian, and white non-Bermudian. And the conclusion and the only projections were from 2026 to 2030, obviously. And here are the numbers, which I found very distressing. But between 2024 and 2030, so 6 years, the Black Bermudian population is due to fall by 456 people, while the white Bermudian population is due to rise by 301 people. The Black non-Bermudian population is due to decline by 127, while the white non-Bermudian population is due to increase by 5. And so my concern was, how is it that the races, regardless of the nationality and the fact that the Black and white Bermudian is home,
Right.
home,
Mm-hmm.
that population falls. Oh, sorry, the white population, Bermudian and non-Bermudian, the white one rises. And the Black population, Bermudian, non-Bermudian, falls.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world could treat those demographics the same in a different country? What could have possibly done that, Billy?
I'm sitting there, I've been trying to work out the other one.
The other one.
Yeah, well, what I asked you earlier. But here we are now, cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
What actually, I'm here trying to figure out what will bring about those numbers. I was stuck on risk factors.
I'll tell you what, I've got 2 more reports to do, and then I will get to a number that I think provides some of the information.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
This is now the 2016 to 2026 projections.
Right.
Now, this came out in 2018. So by then, we had data up until 2016. So that first report had to guess everything from 2009 through.
Right.
This is now 2016. So we have all of the data from 2000 up until 2016 to use. So the projections were one thing, but we knew and we know some of the data now. So here we go. The fertility continued its slide. So I was telling you in 1980, we had 807 children. In 2000, we had 838. In 2010, 769. And 2016, 591.
Yes.
Our birth rate went from 30.4. It in 2016 was down to 9.3.
That's significant.
The fertility rate, remember, 2.1 was what we needed?
Right.
And black women had 1.7, white women had 1.28.
Right.
Is at 1.4 now. In 2016, sorry, it was at 1.4.
Okay.
The annual growth has been minus since 2022. 2021 apparently was a peak. We'll get to some other stuff in a bit. But the issue here in this report was the amount of men was going to fall. Okay, so if and good gracious, really, please giggle with this one so we can make this one a little lightly.
Okay.
But if part of the problem of us having new Bermudians is the choice of the fella isn't all that great, giggle, giggle, giggle. Here we go. The fact that there was 92.7 men for every 100 women in 2016 was pretty bad. By this year,
Right.
it's going to drop again. 92.3 males for every 100 females. Older women outnumber older men in almost every society. Amongst Bermuda seniors, there were 74.8 men for every 100 women in 2016. And by 2026, though, the ratio is expected to increase. 76.3 men for every 100 women.
Giggle, giggle.
No, stop it, really. No, I'm just other data. Remember, we were looking at marriages, right? And who gets married and who gets divorced, right? And we were looking at the numbers where the women were like, I'm done with this, right? So I was reading that, going, wow, you know, the shopping aisle, the shelf is about to get larger, right? With more goods. Because we're going from 74.3 men, seniors, to 76 men, and adorning me.
Yes.
Those women don't care. You could say
Yeah, that way you
28 men, 28,000 men. I'm finished. I'm done.
Get away from me.
Remember Miss B?
Yes.
My cats will attack you. And I loved it. She's crystal clear.
There you go.
All right. So the next thing to do, I just want to tie this all in a bit. And there's something called the vital rates. Okay, and these are your births and your deaths. These are things that are vital. And although I, had a lot of them and I could go through a lot of details, they're quite technical. And so I thought I would do it this way, really. I was going to talk about some of the projections and let you know where they are. So let's take 2016.
Okay.
That was in the 2010 projection. The birth rate was going to be 10.2.
Oh. Was going to be.
The birth rate.
Okay.
Well, it was, let's just put it like this. I'm going to give you now 10.2, 10.5, 9.96, 9.85, 9.81, 9.71. So still a drop. But from 10.2 to 9.7. The actual numbers, it was 9.4 and we're down to 8.4 now. In 2023, the birth rate was 7.8. We need to make more children. A lot more children. The vital rates, the future implications, I read the one from 2000 to 2030. Let me tell you what happened. In 2010, the department did another population projection, and It said Bermuda's population is due to shrink between 2010 and 2020 as net emigration is expected to exceed natural increase every year. I have to put that sentence in context. Bermuda's population is due to shrink between 2010 and 2020 as net emigration is expected to exceed natural increase in every year of that decade. Meg, how do the statisticians know that there will be people who will choose to emigrate over the people who will be born? They have been proved correct.
Right.
But this almost sounds praising or at least
Yes.
praise big enough.
Yes.
But I don't even know what you do to determine that. You interview people who are getting ready to go back to school. I don't know. Okay, but that is a serious
Yeah.
sentence that people will emigrate more than we will create more Bermudians.
I got you. My goodness.
In order to reverse this trend, there needs to be either fewer deaths, more births, less emigration, more immigration, a combination of the above. And then they talk about the medical advances that really gave us life expectancy, and how good that is. However, from an economic perspective, the expected decline in Bermuda's population over the next decade could have serious implications, especially if it occurs rapidly over a matter of years rather than decades. That's what we have. I went on. I'm skipping around here. But as much of Bermuda's shrinking population can be attributed to increased net emigration, there may also be a brain drain effect, i.e., the loss of skilled human capital as a result of persons emigrating. Do I need to explain that one?
Yes, please.
Really? Okay. So, when people leave and they go to move somewhere else for love or labor, they go. Cool. But if those folks and the country in which they hail, say in this case Bermuda, knows who has left or when they left, so we can then know who they are. If those are working age people who have technical, academic, any kind of experience that is needed in Bermuda, and that helps that other country,
Right.
then you can rightfully say it's a brain drain on us. Well, Bermudians are so clever, we could go anywhere in the world and I'm helping that country. No, I'm dead serious.
Right.
We are that sharp, right? Now, if you want to go and be a small fish in a big sea,
Yes.
go for it.
Yes.
Okay? You're still going to have an impact. So the brain drain is, I don't know how this country could suffer a loss of population and there not be a brain drain.
Gotcha.
So the loss of skilled human capital as a result of people emigrating, leading to a shortage of skilled human capital. Now, again, this paper was written in 2010. Okay? And they go on, a section talks about the aging population. I've talked to you about that. It's going to be 22% of the total population. They speak about the sandwich generation, where because some people didn't have children and some people don't left, then some adults are going to have the dual responsibility of taking care of their parents and taking care of their child.
Yeah.
They are called the sandwich generation. Then it's talking about more will retire. And by the way, they speak about the contact with the children in an Overseas Territories Act that gave that passport, and that might have affected citizens of overseas territories. So that was in about the sandwich, and I'm going to have something about the overseas territories as well, and where Bermuda fits with the other overseas territories.
Right.
Listen, At the beginning of the show, I told you, no happy endings, right? So you're not looking for the pot of gold, right? You're not sitting here thinking I'm going to tell you something good, right?
No, you're not. I'm preparing myself.
Okay, good. As long as I'm just going to keep telling you, there is no good news coming. Okay. Of all, and then we're talking about the need for chronic, or the resources needed due to chronic health issues. So, according to the 2010 census, and this paper came out in 2010. Ready for this one?
Go ahead.
77% of seniors had a long-term health condition, compared with 35% of people under 65.
Wow, so that lifestyle again.
Also, 14% of seniors had a disabling long-term health condition, in comparison to 4% of the population. What I'm getting at here, insurance companies are already not concerned with how much it costs to pay for insurance. Apparently, allegedly, that will save us here. And so I don't know how much higher they can go. But if the majority of their clients are seniors, and seniors have fixed income or are retired, take a guess how much the 30-year-old's insurance premium goes up and the 40-year-old's insurance premium goes up.
Wow.
Because where's the money coming from?
Right.
For that pot. But don't worry, they'll kick it off to the government because private companies do that. That increase, I talked about, remember some about how much a household had to spend on healthcare. All of those numbers went up through the roof. And I mean really bad, okay? Bermuda's health expenditure as a share of its GDP is the third highest in the OECD. It will be an important challenge for the country to control this trend while maintaining quality of care and quality of life. This is in 2010, really.
Right.
And it is trouble, okay? There's just everything for the future implication went bad. The brain drain thing was serious, okay? The next one came out in 2016. And again, Bermuda's population is expected, this is the future implications in the 2016 report.
Right.
Bermuda's population is expected to decline after some growth because deaths exceed births. Really, in 2024, 616 deaths, 425 births. Of the 400, only 326 was one Bermudian, one parent, at least one parent Bermudian.
Right.
So those other 99 may be leaving Bermuda.
Yeah.
So even if it was all 425 were Bermudian children staying in Bermuda, we'd still be shy by almost 200.
Yes.
Okay, and we don't even have all of those. So historically, as I said earlier, Bermuda has experienced a natural increase. The natural increase is we had more babies than people dying. That was a natural increase. And that will be reversed in 2021. It's exactly what happened.
Really?
Yep. And so again, it says in order to prevent this, fewer deaths, more births, net immigration, a combination of the above. So let's just look at this. This document came out in 2018. It needs to be fewer deaths. Therefore, we cannot afford death by violence. It's a luxury that the population can't afford.
Right.
That's a choice to lose a Bermudian.
Yes.
More births. There needs to be incentives about that. Other countries incentivize childbearing and rearing. Net immigration. Really? What's net immigration? That is the amount of people leaving has to be less than the amount of people coming in and bring Bermudians back.
Yes.
Okay, find a way, and a combination of those. So they talk about more births could be realized through pro-natalist policies, i.e. incentives to have children, and possibly through less unemployment or underemployment, which will give you more financial security to raise children. Less emigration, so people, Bermudians leaving, can be accomplished primarily through improved employment options locally.
Yes.
As factors relating to employment were cited as the main reason for residents emigrating between the 2000 and the 2010 census. You heard what I just said?
I heard.
So between 2000 and 2010, they asked people why they left, why they might be thinking to leave, and they got an answer. More immigration can be achieved by strengthening or diversifying the economy that provides increased job opportunities. It's there. Again, the report repeats how long it took for us to become a mature and then an aged country, and that's quite bad. The sandwich generation is still here. And then they have a even higher increase in what happened regarding the healthcare costs for the average Bermudian household, as well as the average household that is headed up by a senior. It was bad, okay, quite bad. You have anything about all that?
You heard it, right? Look.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're still here. We're still Bermudian.
Yes.
The game is still on. The whistle hasn't been blown, really.
Yeah, I know. But I don't feel that right now. I feel where the game is right now. That's what I'm feeling.
Okay, well, look. There are things that we can say and do. There's, like I said, I told you, there isn't much good news to come.
Right.
Okay, honestly, there just isn't. I don't know what else to tell you. But I tell you what, I have an idea.
What's that?
I don't think this is gonna work, right? But I'm gonna give you a stretch. How about that?
Okay.
And then
We'll
we'll
be right
see.
back with more of the Corey Butterfield Show here on Magic 102.7 FM.
Didn't quite work, really. I got that one wrong. Anyway.
Wow, I washed my face.
Oh, I forgot to turn you, Michael.
Okay, I've washed my face and I'm ready to go again. Come on, give me those numbers.
Mate, I don't know why you just told people that, but okay.
Yeah, I'm boy.
All right, so we'll get switching gears a little bit, really. We've been talking a lot about immigration, right? The Bermudians who have left.
Yes.
We've spoken about those choices and why people think, but those are opinions. There's a report.
Okay.
This report was dated January 2013. Okay? Now, this thing about this report is the government, it's a government report, it is an analysis of the 2010 census. So during the census of 2010, the enumerators were asking households about people who had left. One moment.
Okay.
It's dead air, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you left dead air, but I do this. That's why I asked you to say something. What do you think people are listening to? But
You are good.
okay. Here's the deal. The 2000 between 2000 and 2010, right? That's the immigration we're looking at.
Right.
Okay, and so the permanent immigration was defined by the Bermuda government as a permanent relocation of people who left after 2000 and were going between then and 2010, which was the next census, and they were going permanently. Okay? The 2010 census was the first time that kind of information had been collected in terms of why people left Bermuda. So I'm going to give you some data now. The report is called Immigration, Bermuda's Qualified Human Capital Departs. Remember what I just read?
Yes.
I described it as brain.
Yeah.
This is the title of this paper put out by the government, Immigration, Bermuda's Qualified Human Capital Departs. This is dated January 2013. It's an analysis of the 2010 census. Here are the highlights. A total of 1,121 people emigrated from Bermuda between 2000 and 2010. The average age was 28 years old.
Average.
28 years old.
So we're losing a lot of our young people.
The highest period was between 2007 and 2009. 47% of those who left for employment reasons. More than half, or 53% of the Bermudian immigrants held degrees. 1,121 people left between 2000 and 2010. 53% of those had degrees.
You mean to tell me that those who took our time to get educated and get a degree left our country? There were no job opportunities for them?
This was still 2010 at the latest. This is between 2000 and 2010. So yes, don't worry, I have more report. I told you there's no, I'll stop saying it, okay? And then almost 30% of the people who left over the age 16 held professional occupations. So they were working in Bermuda.
Okay.
Let me give you more of those demographics. Of the 974 definite people who they were able to find out, 70% were Bermudian, 27 non-Bermudian. The majority were between 16 and 34, but the majority of those, 64% of the people left Bermuda between the age 16 were Bermudian. Now, I know what you're really asking, and I know what that caller is thinking, but he don't call. I'm not going to pick it up, but I'm going to give you the answer without you having to call. During the decade, the proportion of immigrants who were white was 1 percentage point higher than the proportion of black immigrants. So, of the Bermudians who left in the decade of 2000 to 2010, 42% were white Bermudians and 41%. Sorry, let me change that. I made a mistake.
Okay.
Let me be clear. During the decade of 2000 to 2010, 42% of the people who left Bermuda were white. 41% were black. However, when they looked at Bermudian status, they found that more black Bermudians than white Bermudians left during that period. So I have those numbers. Okay? In the period, 974 people left. Of the 974, 709 were between the ages of 16 and 49. The male and female split was fairly close, 339 to 343. Okay? Those first numbers were slightly off. It's in that the same number was right between 16 and 49. It was more like 567 something. Of the genders, 339 men, 343 women. So pretty close, 339, 343. Okay? Racially, in the Bermudians, steady?
Yeah.
259 were white and 322 were black. 79 were mixed. And so, to give you context, the white, mixed, and other immigrants, people who left Bermuda during that decade,
Right.
were only 3 more than the amount of black people.
Okay.
So black Bermudians, 322. White Bermudians, 259. And mixed race, 79. So you see what I'm saying? The
Yes.
mixed race plus white just barely beat the amount of black people who left in that decade.
Yeah.
Don't say it. I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
Who was the government? Okay.
But you can say it, but I can't say it. Okay.
No, I said don't say it, so I didn't say it either. I'll tell you what not to say.
Wow.
Okay, the largest proportion of immigrants left in 2009. 161 people left in 2009. 2008 was like an economic collapse, right?
Right.
So I was trying to figure out what might have happened in 2009. That's the only thing that I can really think about. When I looked at the numbers between 2000 and 2010,
Right.
some of those other numbers, it just really, I found it odd trying to identify what was so bad between 2007 and 2009. So maybe it was the beginning of the collapse. I'm out of here. Hey, wow, this is bad. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Hey, this is going to get worse. I'm out of here. And then maybe it came
Right.
back. Okay? So 2009 was the highest, and 2001 was the smallest. Okay? 90 Bermudians seem to have left in 2008. Now, and it's interesting, women who left Bermuda were more likely to have emigrated to the USA and UK, whereas males were more likely to have emigrated to Canada. I know. I don't know. Kind of odd.
To Canada?
Now, this is the part right here, really. Strap in.
Right.
Under the section, reason for emigrating.
Okay. I'm sitting up, huh?
The top 2 reasons why persons left Bermuda were employment and family.
Okay.
Okay? I think that this is the 2010 census, right? So
Yes.
it's published in 2013. So this is what people were saying in the 2010 census. Roughly 18% of respondents indicated other reasons why people left. Some of those included. So 39 employment,
Right.
25 family, 18 the rest.
Right.
Here we go. Affordability, retirement, and to exercise the right of free establishment. Is the exercising the right of free establishment marrying who you wish to marry? Is that what you think that is?
Yeah.
Okay, no, honest to God, I didn't know what it meant.
That's how I'm translating it. Yes.
And to exercise the right of free establishment. I didn't look it up to see what that meant, but my guess is, what did they say? Love is love. So to marry who you wish to marry, I don't know, because it was illegal. And crime. Males, 42%, were more likely to leave the island for employment reasons, while females were more likely to leave for family reasons.
Okay.
Love.
Yeah, got you.
For 47% of Bermudians, employment was their primary reason for leaving, compared to 1/5 of non-Bermudians. Well, why would a non-Bermudian leave this place? They get paid well. And a nearly quarter of non-Bermudians left because their work permit expired or were terminated. Only a quarter?
Wow.
What happened to the other 75% whose work permits expired?
Wow.
Really? The paper I read from before, I hope I can find the definition. Do you remember the definition of brain drain that I read? So I can't put my hands on it at the moment.
No, I don't. Well.
Okay, well, it was defined something like people who have qualifications or expertise certifications that then leave sort of your country and they are a benefit to the other country.
Yes.
And so you've suffered brain drain because that, if you will, expertise isn't helping your country. So that's a drain.
Yeah.
And that was one of the future implications that the projections thought Bermuda would face, possibly as a brain drain. All right? That was the 2010 report, remember?
Yes.
Okay. The 2000 report, sorry.
Hey.
So here, this report, remember I gave you the title earlier, Emigration, Bermuda's Qualified Human Capital Departs. This is in January 2013. This section is headed up, Educational Profile of Emigrants 16 years and older, in big, bold, black font, the largest in the whole document. It says, Bermuda is experiencing the brain drain effect.
Ooh. Yeah.
In 2013. Brain drain can be viewed as an economic cost to a country as persons with qualifications and skills leave. Nearly half, or 418 immigrants 16 years and older, had a degree as their highest academic qualification. This is more than double the proportion of degree holders in Bermuda's total population 16 years and older in 2000. Do I need to explain that one?
Explain it. Let them
Surely. What this says is, of the people who left Bermuda, 48% of them had degrees. In the average Bermudian workforce, only 20% do. As a large proportion of immigrants were degree holders, this is an indication of brain drain, where highly qualified persons are lost from the host country, Bermuda, to the benefit of the country of destination. Overall, female immigrants had higher academic qualifications than males. They go on about the non-Bermudians. We'll come back to them. Bermudian immigrants fared better at the degree level, with 53% having attained degrees compared to 37% of non-Bermudian immigrants. So in other words, the people who lived in Bermuda, who left Bermuda, the Bermudians had degrees. Those who left Bermuda and were non-Bermudian did not have the degrees the Bermudians had. That means we aren't suffering when the foreigner leaves. We're suffering when the Bermudian...
Yeah, when we leave, definitely.
Of particular significance is that 37% of immigrants 16 years or older were Bermudian degree holders, as it is important for Bermuda to retain the most qualified Bermudians to fill local jobs. The departure of young Bermudian degree holders would likely lead to the need to recruit qualified non-Bermudians to fill the void in the job market.
Boy, this is sad. Oh,
Well,
Corey,
yes, Billy.
this is sobering. This is... I've never been so speechless in my life. Okay?
We had a census in 2016, and we had the numbers for 2016. Are you able to handle those numbers? Because they get a lot worse.
Let me have it.
In the decade between 2000 and 2010, 974 people left Bermuda. In the time between 2010 and 2016, just that 6-year period, 1,424 left.
What?
Sorry, what part? 1,424 people left in the 6 years between 2010 and 2016.
Okay.
The ages, the largest group by far, was between age 20 to 24. The second largest was 25 to 29, and the third largest was age 15 to 19.
Those are young folk.
So I thought maybe people were leaving to retire.
At that age?
No, there's a lot. I'm going to give you the age of retirement. I thought, right? So between 65 and 85, like from 65 to the end,
Okay.
only 26 people.
That's it.
To give you an idea, there were 326 people between the ages of 20 and 24. There were 144 between the ages of 30 and 34, and 178 between 15 and 19. From 65 to 100, it's only 26. So people were not leaving Bermuda to retire at that point, not in 2016.
No.
Okay? Now, here's the other part. When I look at this, in the years 2013, 2014, and 2015, okay? So we're talking about these 6 years between 2010 and 2016, right? That's it.
Right.
But 13, 14, and 15, 2013, 2014, and 2015, 797 people left Bermuda.
Yeah.
I can't think what happened. I'm curious, right? 2013, 2014, and 2015, all I can tell you politically, the government changed in December of 2012.
Yes.
I don't know, right? But I would have thought people thought they were friendly to immigrants and immigrants.
Yeah.
So, but let me just tell you, more people left in those 3 years than the other years combined.
So what years were there?
2013, 2014, and 2015.
Yes.
797 people left.
We had an election in 2012.
Right.
Okay.
The end of 2012.
Okay.
But, like I said, those 3 years, 2013, 14, and 15,
Right.
more than 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2016 added up. So those 3 years are more than the other years added up.
Something's happening.
Okay? Again, the Bermudian versus non-Bermudian, the numbers, okay, I'll give you the Bermudian numbers between 2010 and 2016, right? So I'm not going to keep saying in 20 this and 20 that.
Right.
I'm starting at 2010 and I'm going to go to 2016. See
Okay.
what occurs to you.
Okay.
All right. 141 people left in 2010. Then 111, 144, 161, 235 in 2014, 200 in 2015, 68 in 2016. Bermudians.
Okay. But it's still that increase between those years. It's evident.
That was
Hey, I keep coming back to opportunity,
oh yes.
and it seems as if with our young people, it don't seem as if they're secure with the opportunity that's being offered, if it's any being offered at all.
The reasons we're here in 2010. Okay?
Okay.
And we are back then suffered brain drain. What did the things happen since?
I'm afraid to say.
Well, strap in. Because you may recall that in March 2024, the government took out a survey of immigrants, so people who left Bermuda, to find out why they left.
Yes.
And so, here we are. Factors driving emigration in Bermuda. A report dated January 2025. So, the problem is, I think the survey lacks quite a bit compared to what we saw with the other report. I would say that this leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you the survey results. This was done in 2024, I think, and published January of 2025. The executive summary is on page 1. And at the bottom, well, I'll tell you, it involved in-depth interviews with 20 Bermudians who left Bermuda, then another round of 105 who left Bermuda, and then 416 adults who were in Bermuda. Okay? The top 5 factors motivating Bermudians to leave are the high cost of living, difficulty of retiring in Bermuda, overall management of Bermuda and the economy, the availability of career opportunities in Bermuda, and the quality of life and activities in Bermuda. The go on to speak about the reason for this is because it is built on the paper retaining the local workforce. That's where trying to find out why Bermudians left. This survey came out of the work done for the consultation to retain the local workforce.
Right.
That was in March, I think, 2024. Respondents were asked to explain why they decided to emigrate. The top 3 answers were, number 1, the high cost of living, lack of affordability, the ability to live beyond retirement. That's number 1.
Tell me, do you have percentages for each of them?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. Actually, I do not here. I mean, if you really want, I have that data as a thick PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
I mean, I just didn't think I needed it, but maybe I should have.
To be honest, there's reasons. Exact. Okay. I could see people leaving for them.
Oh, it goes on. When asked what could have prevented them from emigrating, respondents stated if the cost of living was more manageable, if there were more job opportunities and higher standards of public education, or more post-secondary educational opportunities were the main responses. The survey of the 105, these people had on average already been living overseas for 7.4 years, and fewer than 30 of them had 2 jobs. However, prior to leaving Bermuda, most were working and nearly half of them held 2 jobs. So these 105 were asked, when they were asked what they liked most about their former lives, the popular answers were the quality of private education, being near family and friends, community, the natural beauty of Bermuda, and the weather. The least liked aspects of living in Bermuda were the high cost of living, healthcare, limited employment and educational opportunities, and management of the country. Therefore, their top 5 reasons for emigrating were the cost of food and groceries in Bermuda, the cost of housing and utilities, the cost of healthcare and insurance, the difficulty of retiring in Bermuda, and the lack of career opportunities. When asked about their satisfaction with life overseas, they were most satisfied with, take a guess, the cost of healthcare, the cost of education, educational opportunities, and the quality of education. When comparing their satisfaction for their life overseas with their life in Bermuda, respondents stated the biggest difference in favor of life overseas was, of course, the cost of living and healthcare, followed by management of the country, education and employment opportunities, and quality of education. With regard to returning home, the top 5 factors to encourage a return were, number 1, lower costs for food and groceries. Number 2, improved management of Bermuda and the economy. 3, I think that means fairness or equality, right? Number 3, lower cost of housing and utilities. Number 4, lower cost for healthcare and health insurance. And 5, more affordable retirement opportunities.
Wow, that's an uphill battle.
The next group were the 400 Bermudians that
Right.
are in Bermuda that were surveyed.
Yeah.
And in terms of rating their satisfaction in Bermuda, or with Bermuda, their life in Bermuda, out of 10, the average was a 6.25, which overall meant respondents were fairly satisfied with their life in Bermuda. Respondents were most satisfied with the quality of private school education and their friendships. They were least satisfied with the cost of living, the cost of healthcare, and overall management of Bermuda and the economy. Let me pause here. As I'm saying these things, right, I know as someone I've dealt with polls and surveys and data, there's one thing I want to highlight. The way I have been hearing these lists is what are things that are within the control of government and what are not.
Yes.
So we keep hearing, say, the cost or the quality of private education. I'm not saying that that's something government is about. The natural beauty of Bermuda isn't something that government can do. So, and the friendships that it miss isn't.
Right.
But the cost of living, the cost of healthcare, overall management of Bermuda, and the economy, those are lanes for the government.
Yeah.
When asked whether they may consider emigrating in the future or if they had begun to take active steps, more than half of the respondents stated they may consider moving from Bermuda at some point in the future. 7% stated that they had taken active steps, and 39% stated they had no plans or interest in moving. Let me be specific, okay? 39% I'm moving. Got me?
Right.
7, I'm beginning to move. But that other number, I think this was written badly. Okay? So when you say more than half of the respondents stated they may consider moving from Bermuda at some point in the future,
Yes.
consider how many criteria. May. So they may consider.
Yes.
They're not considering, and they haven't even decided to consider.
Yeah.
Okay? So they may consider moving from Bermuda at some point in the future. Really?
Right.
That's not even a number worth repeating.
No.
Which might be why I don't have the actual number. It says more than half.
Right.
When asked about their motivating factors were in driving their decision to consider moving, the cost of housing and utilities, the cost of food and groceries, the cost of health care and health insurance, and the difficulty in retiring in Bermuda were the main reasons. However, other factors included quality of life. Remember, this is January 2025
Right.
when this is published. From March 2024 survey, thereabouts. Ready?
Yeah.
Other factors included quality of life, quality of public school education, specialized health care for those with disabilities, gang culture and violence, and public acceptance of, let me get this one right, LGBTQI+. When asked what factors would reduce emigration and encourage Bermudians to make Bermuda their permanent home, the most appealing factors were lower costs for food and groceries, more affordable retirement opportunities, lower costs for health care and health insurance, and lower costs of housing and utilities. Other appealing factors were improved management of Bermuda and the economy, better career opportunities, improved opportunities to purchase and rent housing, better quality public school education, and reduced crime, violence, and gang culture. So, the summary that the two biggest reasons were the high cost of living, together with a lack of affordability and ability to live in Bermuda beyond retirement, and to seek more employment opportunities, and the lack of employment growth in Bermuda. They were significantly satisfied with the cost of healthcare and the cost of living overseas, and what would have prevented them from leaving: a more manageable cost of living, more job opportunities, a higher standard of public education. All of this gets repeated and repeated and repeated.
Right.
The most popular suggestions for encouraging Bermudians to return or remain in Bermuda to address the high cost of living, speak to those who have left to understand why they left, and create solutions to encourage them to return, to improve public and post-secondary education in Bermuda, and to increase employment opportunities. Really, again, it concludes with costs. Okay?
Yes.
I'm just going to open this for a minute.
Sure. Well, here we go. Corey?
All right. So I struggled with
Let me see.
Oh, sorry.
I'm digesting all these numbers. Forgive me.
Yeah, man.
And it isn't good.
No.
Okay?
Yes.
And we just can't sit idly by and continue to watch these numbers plummet,
No.
and we don't do nothing. We have to be able to address this. And God help us.
You're absolutely correct. You would have thought, I keep giving the dates because
Right.
while this is being sprung on our listeners and you,
Yeah.
some of these people, I'm a nerd, right? So I read
Right.
these things.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is the people with the ability to do something, it's not been sprung on them today.
If not.
Okay? And that's why I said yesterday, successive governments.
Yes.
So I'm going to do something that I struggled with. And once I made up my mind, that was it.
Okay.
Okay? I wasn't sure about reading this out.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it because I can't have read what I just read. And it moved, to be honest, what I just read affected me. Let me tell you, this is for anybody who's listening. I thought about this and brought it with me, and I said, you know what, let me just take it just in case the kind of vibes go that way. If really kind of moves me that way or whatever, then hey, man,
Move.
we're going to do a thing.
Yes.
So I have it, and reading just now,
Right.
I'm going to tell you what happened, all honesty. I was reading all of that, and I said, I can't believe they have this. This been shouted at them, told to them, right? So I'm going to read something I did.
Okay.
It's not a speech, don't worry. So I submitted a patty request in November of 2024,
Okay.
and I'm going to read out the request.
Okay.
Now, again, November 2024. So not the one just gone,
Yes.
the one prior. Here's the patty request. Good day. I would like to receive a copy of the minutes of the Cost of Living Commission from March 2022 until September 2024.
Right.
Additionally, if during the same time period there are documents, presentations, files, etc., that were requested by or submitted to the Commission from external or non-government sources which the public can view, I would also like to receive a copy of them. I would also like to receive copies of data, statistics, reports, analysis, etc., from internal or government sources that were either submitted to or requested by the Commission. In essence, I want to see the minutes and what they've been discussing. Like there's maybe data out there, about retail prices or whatever, and I thought, like a big nerd.
That's fair.
Big brain.
That's fair.
I'm going to say big nerd anymore, big brain, right? So that was the 7th of November, 2024.
Right.
Under the petty legislation, it takes 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, they have up until 6 weeks, and I think it's like 7 days to acknowledge, and then I think 6 weeks.
Yes.
Now, something may come up, oftentimes with me, not necessarily with me, but I've written oftentimes, and the department has changed to the ministry.
Yes.
Or the Krango is somewhere else. So it takes, like, that information officer isn't that one. So it's not about me personally, it just it happens to me because I ask a lot of questions. I received this letter in reply on September the 4th, 2025.
What?
Not to worry, it's okay.
How long was that?
It don't matter, bro.
It doesn't. It does.
Of course it matters. In September, okay, so I asked it in November 2024, and I got the reply September 2025.
Oh, that's 10 months.
But yeah, man, but like, I think, you're probably right. I should do and care more. But to be honest, if I'm real with you,
Right.
Imagine you got a question from me.
Right.
You know, I ain't asking this simple, right? So I always figure, yeah, man, you know, they're gonna have to, you know. So I don't mind because my question, look, man, I once asked for the duty paid and the weight, like the quantity
Right.
of Rizzlers that were imported to Bermuda.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how much cannabis is in the country, and I felt if I knew how many Rizzlers was in the country, I might be able to work out roughly how much cannabis was in the country.
No, me and you are brethren, right?
But this was long before Patty.
No,
it wasn't even.
But me and you are brethren.
We
right?
are.
But that's really nerdy.
How's that? Wait a minute.
Who would think like that? I don't get it.
Well, I was curious, and people, how much weed things? How much people you think so? So what happened? You go to the street, right? And some guy say, "Hey man, I want board in a container lid, boy, and that container went on the weekend, so I board in on the next one on the Wednesday, right?" And you're like, "Really?" Right? Hey, see that building over there? I can feel that whole building, boy.
So
right?
you wanted
but then I went on the police, hold tight.
Right.
I then went on the police website and I checked the police.
Right.
And their data
Yes.
never changed.
No.
Like, it'll go up or down, like, that's not even real. And they said it was the airport, the dock, the house, the guy stopped on the street,
Right.
the busing down, like, amounted to the equivalent of, like, 300 pounds in a year. And I had guys that... So I was trying to think what would be an objective way to figure it out. You tell me an objective way, then. How else would you figure it out?
You know something? I'm satisfied just going around the island and smelling it. Man,
No,
okay.
but-
I know it's a lot here.
But I'm just curious.
No, but
I'm just that nerd. I mean, that's...
I'm just saying, you go deep, man. You go deep. But it's all right. What the benefit of you going deep, okay?
You know, I thought about telling that one. I thought about using a different example. Maybe I should have used the other example. And I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
have...
think so.
Wait, no, the other example was?
What was it?
And remember, they having a Pride March and the police car had the Pride colors?
Okay.
I sent a Patty request to ask who funded it, where the idea come from. I got all the answers. I was just curious.
I just wanted. Anyway, leave
What?
it. Leave it.
You know, you make me feel bad.
No, you shouldn't feel bad.
I just...
Oh, the world's made up of all kinds of people. Okay.
Are you bullying me right now?
No, I'm not bullying you.
I don't know. I'm feeling kind of bullied,
You're
really.
not being bullied.
I'm feeling a little bullied.
No.
I don't know, man. I'm feeling
But-
slightly bullied here.
Not going back that way, okay?
Well, there's nobody else here. So I know I'm on my own.
Well,
I watched everybody leave.
No, but we're not going back there because you're going to call Glenn and you're going to...
I wouldn't dare.
And then you...
I wouldn't dare. That was Nikita who did that. In any event, I asked some Patty. Maybe we should do a show on Patty requests one day. You guys have some from Move. I have some.
I have some young and old. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Should-
I don't mind sharing them.
Maybe we should. All right, let's think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got this request. My reply, sorry.
Right.
September 4th, 2025.
Yes.
Oh, should I repeat? You know what the question was, right? It was, could I have the minutes, presentations, essentially, of the presentations made to the Cost of Living Commission or any resources? I just,
Yes.
nerd.
I'm dying to hear your reply.
Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, I did get a bit, here we go. There was an issue, so the reason there was a delay was because there was a movement around Consumer Affairs and Ministry of Finance and kind of stuff. And so the place I wrote only had information from 2023. If I wanted the information prior to 2023, I'd write to a different department. It would have been nice if they just sent my request to the other department. But,
Oh, yeah.
but to be honest, their answer made the other department irrelevant. I didn't need them.
Okay. All right.
Here comes the answer. It's, oh, I didn't realize it.
What?
2 sentences.
2? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a lovely letter, its own letterhead.
Oh, I see.
But the part that's relevant is this. Attached, you will find minutes for July 20th and November 15th, 2023. There were no official minutes for 2024. Meetings that were scheduled did not have a quorum in order to proceed with minutes.
Yeah, no.
The Cost of Living Commission didn't even meet.
What? The whole of 2024?
I'll read this to you again. My request
let me
was
see
for
that paper.
My request was
No,
for
let-
minutes
let-
between 2022 and 2024, and there were no minutes given to me for 2024 because the Cost of Living Commission did not meet, or there were no minutes because they did not have a quorum. So the burning thing from 2010 in the census, 2013 in the immigration report, in the January 2025 based on March 2024 survey, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living.
I am not one meeting.
Fella, I don't lie. I read that to you.
But isn't there a mandate for committees to meet certain time, or is it a quota that they have to meet?
I don't know. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. So, as a result of all of that, there's another paper I have here about, and maybe, you know what? I think I should probably do that first. We are getting close to, but we're going to do this. This position came out in this paper, March 2024.
Okay.
This is actually the paper that survey was just speaking about.
Right. Okay.
The consultation on retaining the local workforce.
Okay.
And let me just say, I haven't seen the news in the last, I haven't seen the news, but I understand from comments that I'm seeing, something happened in education.
Okay.
Let me just say, I don't know what happened, honestly. But what we just read as reasons why people leave Bermuda, I hope whatever's happened with public education has increased or is set to increase confidence in it.
Yes.
Not just for the education of our future leaders and adults, but also so that people don't have to leave, right? Because they think our system is the best in the world or the best in the region or the best.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes.
So there's an executive summary here that goes with this report. So this report was March 2024, the result of a consultation to retain the local workforce.
Okay.
I need to be crystal clear. The local workforce is not Bermudian workers. Local workforce does not mean Bermudian workers.
Okay.
It means the people working in Bermuda. So this paper is to retain the local workforce, not the Bermudian workforce. All right. As long as we made that clear. I'm going to jump all over the place with this because the paper's pretty thick, and I've just highlighted some stuff that I think might be relevant. So, during the consultation for the Economic Development Strategy 2023 to 2027 document, the ministry noted, the Finance Ministry, that the 20, 15, and 10-year periods required to obtain a permanent residency certificate, a PRC, were not having a significant positive impact on worker retention in Bermuda. To that end, it was determined that more aggressive action is needed if the PRC policy is to serve as a viable incentive for persons considering options of jurisdictions in which to work and reside. The purpose of this paper is to address the challenge of Bermuda's shrinking working population by 1, making an aggressive and targeted effort to encourage and motivate working-age Bermudians to remain in Bermuda. 2, to encourage and incentivize Bermudians studying abroad to return to Bermuda to reside and work. And 3, revising the eligibility requirements for foreign residents and workers to obtain a PRC. Okay? So they're telling you.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm going to, they repeat the policy purpose. They want to retain Bermudians in the workforce by encouraging and motivating and encouraging and encouraging. Okay, so those are the 3 bullet. I'm not lying. The 3 bullet. 1, the bullet point 1, encouraging and motivating to remain, encouraging to come back when they're studying, and encouraging the retention of older Bermudians in the workplace. Encouraging. For the guest workers,
right,
they're going to revise the overall eligibility for permanent residency, going to revise the permanent residency even further for specified occupational categories. Under the heading Retention of Guest Workers in the Workforce, regarding non-Bermudian workers, it is proposed that by lowering the time requirement for persons to obtain a PRC, it is more likely that the current foreign residents will remain in Bermuda, as they will be able to enjoy all the benefits of a PRC holder to reside, work, and invest their savings locally. The only benefits PRCs will not have compared to Bermudians are the right to vote and the right to receive certain benefits, such as financial assistance. I can't, you know how I feel when people be misled, lied to, or manipulated.
Right.
The standard is to make $83,000 a year if you're foreign. Why would you, the fact that they can't apply for financial assistance is just a throw, I almost use the N-word, to who they think we are.
Right.
If on page, whatever it is, it says they have to make $83,000,
Yes.
why in the world would they be going to financial assistance? And if they get fired from that $83,000 job, revoke the PRC.
Yes.
Don't go for some other jobs that's a $73,000 or $53,000. Get cracking.
Yes.
That's a difference with a Bermudian. A Bermudian can be unemployed in his country, her country, the country. I'm getting
Our country.
there we go. Of average, this is the Bermudians who left. On average, 2.1 household members had emigrated. Respondents stated that 54% left to find better work overseas and 28% left for better or more affordable health care, education, and a lower cost of living. A separate independent survey about their living situation, in which 24% stated they are currently considering moving away from Bermuda, and of these, 69% said the primary reason was due to the cost of living. Have you heard? Remember, they're going to encourage, motivate,
Yes.
encourage. You remember my patty request?
Yes. But they didn't meet.
Oh, I mean, this is why the show, right? Being Bermudian,
Yes.
right, is looking at all of these YouTube commercials and all these highfalutin. But mate,
Yes.
don't come destroy my house and show up the next day and help me fix it. I wouldn't have needed you to help fix
Yeah,
it
the
if you
first
didn't
place.
destroy it. If the cost of living didn't get so high in the first place, when civil servants, public officers, and those people who left were screaming and shouting.
Yes.
I am about to read something to you. I am actually trying to leave this today, but it's too much. We're going to have to finish this off for an hour on Monday.
Okay.
This part, if you ask me, is the ultimate betrayal. You may have thought I read some things today that are
Bad.
bad. Sure.
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah. Now, what I'm about to read, to me, let's put it this way. With what we've been speaking about tax
Right.
and how the state or government makes money, when we've been talking about the exemptions that people get, and I want you to consider what I'm about to read. I'll just say this part is about, this part you already know.
Right.
The committee, this is the Labor Advisory Committee, back in 2018.
Yes.
This paper was done last March. Why are you relying on to just go back to them and ask them where they are now? But not a problem. The Labor Advisory Committee also produced a report called Reviewing the Retirement Age. And that report concluded older workers should, without discrimination by reason of their age, enjoy equality of opportunity and treatment with other workers as regarding recruitment, hiring, compensation, benefits, training, working conditions, and career development. That is just... The concern is also often raised about the impact that shifts in the retirement age will have on young workers. Most economists agree that the job market does not work on a one-in, one-out basis, and there's very little evidence to support the notion that increasing the retirement age will impact employment opportunities for young workers. In Bermuda, declining birth rates of the past few decades reduced the impact of young worker displacement. They left the country. It's not about the birth rate is low, but how many of them, that's the age group that's leaving. And so the committee supported the concept of phased retirement. It allows an employee to continue to be employed after official retirement age, reduction of duties, reduction of working hours, part-time work, project-based assignments, and or job sharing. These options tend to be win-win as they allow employers to reduce employment costs while retaining skilled employees. This is the betrayal now that I'm about to read. To that end, the government will eliminate the employer's portion of payroll tax for all Bermudian employees over the age of 65. Why is somebody who you need, who you are saying you're going to change retirement age, and at 60 they would have been thinking, at 64 they might have planned the cruise, at why is there any tax coming out of their salary at all? And yet, to go back to what we think happens, the employer won't have to write anything, any checks to government, because the only thing that's due comes from the employee. The 65-plus-year-old really, really needs that deduction, right?
Yes.
That is insane. I read that, and I said, imagine, right? You're asking the seniors who raised us,
Yes, worked all the
who
life.
were on marches and protests, who did whatever, right? And are looking forward to not going to that person, that man's place, that woman's place, to do that thing, and yet they are going to have tax come out of their paycheck. Why? Why should payroll, and this is what I'm getting. Remember the corporate income tax?
Yes.
They're ready to give them rebates. And yet, you're going to have to take payroll tax from a 70-year-old, a 68-year-old. I keep telling you, the way this country is governed and managed, the country is going to be fine. Bermuda is going to be fine. Bermudians are going to be we are in a catastrophe.
You said in the beginning that it's bad.
There's no happy ending coming.
No, but you repeated it. You said it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, bad, bad. Got to give it to you. You made your point.
Sorry.
No, I'm seriously. I don't feel good right now.
No, it's hard to.
You know, and then I see the faces. Like I tell you, I'm grassroots. I see the faces. Every day I see the effects of what's going on. Now I'm understanding it even more, why we are, as Bermudians, in this position.
You better. And, you know, you got to ask yourself, with all the stuff about the cost of living,
right?
Imagine the lack of accountability. And what I mean by that, a committee is a committee. Okay, I've not told you any members. I obviously have them all here. I can tell you every name on that commission.
Right.
I can tell you when the chairman changed and who. I could tell you obviously.
Right.
But that's not really the point. Because telling you who the members are is irrelevant if only the chair can call the meeting.
Right.
So telling you who the chair would be, okay, great. You know who the chair is. But you know what really gets to me?
What's that?
Nobody in cabinet said, hey, what's going on with the cost of living commission? We're getting hammered here about the cost of living. Nobody in 2 years questioned, like, what's the latest?
Yeah.
They just didn't meet.
That's not representation, is it?
And just think, I'm saying having seniors still pay payroll taxes is a bigger betrayal.
No. That's...
Brother man?
Yeah.
Coming back on Monday?
Let me think about it.
I believe you do. Well, listen, man, I'm sorry, but I did give you the adult warning. I said there's no happy ending. It's bad, bad, bad.
Yeah.
But here we are. Now, I'll tell you this for Monday.
Okay.
Even people who know me,
right,
don't know what my job is. They don't know, like, when, of course, the consultant to so-and-so, they may not have a clue.
Right.
for me, I can't speak for any other consultants who do I can't speak for any other consultants. But I will say this. This problem right here is what I live for.
Okay.
So if you'd have asked me how we could address this, I got tons of reasons.
Right.
Tons of I'm not saying it will work. Okay, but you look at a situation like this, if not me, if you're a politician, and you say, this is life or death of my people.
Yes.
Beyond quality of life, beyond cost of living. This is the life or death of being Bermudian.
Yes, it is.
What else am I doing? Lifeguards, asphalt, employee of the month. What else matters if we're talking about everybody's here to even vote for you
Right.
or pay the tax in the first place? My brother,
Yes, indeed.
I'm coming back on Monday. I hope to see you.
No, I'll be here.
I know.
I'll be there.
there. Everyone, thank you so much for your time. If we have anybody left, really, because this was pretty heavy, right? It's heavier than slavery stuff today. So we'll be back on
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.